at the Palace of Auburn Hills. They're down 0-2. Good evening, everyone. Along with Bill Walton, Mike bringing on hand. The defending champs couldn't have played much better in games 1 and 2 in this series. So dominant, Bill, and showing how tough they are with their balance and how unselfish they are.
Mike, Detroit, the world champions, they are the epitome of the balance you mentioned, but brilliance as well. And when you're preparing for them and trying to feed them, what strategy is going to work? Because where do you focus the attack? Rasheed Wallace leads them in scoring. Ben Wallace, he's their best rebounder. Then Chauncey Billups, the finals MVP, he leads them in assists. And Rip Hamilton is shooting the ball brilliantly, although he doesn't take a lot of shots. And that doesn't even include Tayshaun Prince, who in the half-court set is the hub of the wheel, the most important member of this really well-oiled machine, the world champion Detroit Pistons.
So what do the Sixers do to get back in the series? Certainly Allen Iverson needs to turn it around. It's easier said than done because Detroit makes you do things you don't want to do. But Iverson can't just have a good game. He has to have a great game.
Mike, Philadelphia, they're on the ropes. And when you have a great player like Allen Iverson, basically a one-man team here, you've got to have that huge performance from AI. The league's leading scorer, he's missing layups in Detroit. And then with everybody dug in against him, they come in hordes, in waves to block the shots, and everybody getting a piece of him. Rasheed, Ben, Tayshaun, you name it. And then all those blocks eventually take their toll and intimidate Allen Iverson. He has to leave all that stuff behind and come out with a performance like he had in the regular season. Right now his points way down and only shooting 35%. Yikes.
There's the Bud Light starting lineups with that great front line of Prince and the two Wallaces. Kyle Korver, they need some offense from him with Chris Webber and Samuel Dalembert, who's done a superb job on the boards. And in the backcourt, Iverson and the rookie Iguodala against one of the best backcourts, maybe the best in terms of two-way players in Hamilton and Billups.
And that's what makes it even more difficult for Allen Iverson, because this Detroit squad, they play all aspects of the game as a team. And in talking to Jim O'Brien, he said one thing we have to do, Philadelphia, to win this game is own the boards and keep Detroit playing a half-court game.
And there's the officiating crew, good veteran staff. And plain and simple, Jim O'Brien said that they've been more physical than we've been. And we have to be more physical because that's what playoff basketball is all about. You know they will be more physical playing on their home floor.
Great home court advantage that the 76ers have here. Chris Webber was content to stay out on the perimeter. At some point, he's got to go in and try to dominate the paint.
You mentioned the home court. They're 25 and 16 here at the Wachovia Center this year. Wallace, quick run, won't go. And Dalembert, who leads all rebounders
over the top
basketball. Iverson on the pull-up. Dalembert. And a loose ball foul will go against Detroit. It's going to go against Rip Hamilton. What a job this kid has done on the boards the first two games, though.
40-plus minutes in the two games. Tremendous explosion onto the playoff scene. Remember, Philadelphia starts three guys who have never played in an NBA playoff game before this series started a week ago.
And of course, Iguodala, who's the rookie, and Korver and Dalembert. Iverson trying to draw the foul. Dalembert comes up with it. Iverson inside to Webber. Shot altered. Webber will try it again and gets it to fall. Wallace screaming for a push-off foul. Boy, the length of those guys down low is so tough.
Well, there's so many of them. And the guards are huge. And then you come to Wallace and Prince, who might have the highest and extended reach of them all.
Tayshaun Prince knocks down the three. That's an area that the Sixers struggled with during the regular season, was defending the three. As Prince able to put it in.
One of the reasons for that is because they're so concerned about defending the paint. Very difficult to do both unless you've got Shaq on your team.
Alley-oop to Dalembert. Oh, beautiful pass from Korver.
Those plays are open. The Detroit Pistons defense has dug in against Allen Iverson, and if he looks for opportunities like that, it could be a big night assist-wise for Allen Iverson. He's averaging 10 assists per game in this series.
Billups throws it away. Iguodala, a very gifted young defender. Gets inside. Iverson. Korver for three. exactly the start that they wanted, especially getting some offense from Kyle Korver.
Young players will do a better job at home. Kyle Korver has been put in an untenable situation here. I don't like the matchup that Jim O'Brien, Philadelphia's head coach, has Korver on Tayshaun Prince. That puts him at an extreme disadvantage. But Korver over the top to Dalembert. That play has been open time and time again. And Korver moving without the ball. That's his game. He trails Allen Iverson, but Iverson has to look to get rid of the ball.
And how about Prince knocks down a second three-pointer? That last foul was on Korver. And Tayshaun Prince with a couple of threes.
This is the third straight game where Philadelphia has come out to a good, solid start. Their inability to sustain as the game wears on as the world champions maintain their poise.
Iguodala comes up short. Well, they've led after the first quarter in both of the first two games. Of course, game one, they had that 16-point lead before people were comfortable in their seats. Well, the Pistons have just dominated both second halves.
This is the matchup that's just so difficult.
And a whistle. Count the basket. Ronnie Garrettson was going to wave it off and say defensive 3 seconds, but that would have penalized the Pistons. So a right call. He waves it off and gives it the 2 points. And Tayshaun Prince now 3 for 3. He's got all 8 of the Pistons' points.
One of the issues coming in for Detroit, would they be complacent? Would they just be happy to be up 2-0? I think the Miami victory in double overtime last night at the Meadowlands helps the Pistons tonight.
Weber is short. Weber's been scoring very well at 21 a game, but has not been rebounding. Only 3.5 boards a game, and they need that as they've been hurt on the boards. Rasheed Wallace and the Pistons 3 for 3 from downtown.
Very focused Rasheed Wallace before this game tonight. From this area, played his high school basketball here. Always the determination to come out and put on a good show at home.
8-0 run now, and Iverson stops with a good drive. The problem for Iverson, Bill, is getting in the paint. Once he beats a Billups or a Hamilton off the dribble, you've got that front line that is so good in their help defense.
But you've got guys who can knock it down. Kyle Korver, that guy is a tremendous shooter. Iguodala has shown that he can put the ball in the hoop.
And here's the matchup that's been tough. Billups, the extra pass. And Wallace can't hit the 3. Dalembert goes flying in for the rebound.
The range on Dalembert's jump shot. What an energetic performer.
Korver. Dalembert falling away. Tough shot. And gets the bounce.
That's called in your face, Mike Breen. You must not have seen him warming up before the game. That was the only shot he was taking. The 15-foot fadeaway jumper.
Dalembert is enjoying his first playoff experience in terms of having fun, but obviously not being down 0-2. Foul inside. Iguodala picks up his first, and some free throws coming up.
Dalembert bobbles the ball. Not the best of hands. Came to basketball late. Was a soccer player growing up as a kid in Haiti. That is just too sweet. And the great thing about Samuel Dalembert is his personality. I mean, besides being a real talent, the guy is just a bundle of joy and happiness.
And he gives so much of the credit to his progress, and he made huge progress this year, to Larry Brown, who was his coach in Philadelphia for 2 years. And he said, now I'm beginning to understand all the things that Larry Brown told me. Now they're all starting to click in. They all start to make some sense. And he said, just Brown, he's so grateful to him and tells him all the time.
That's exactly the way my relationship went with my coaches in the early days.
Iverson fading, Dalembert knocked away. Off balance, puts it in. Another tough shot. And Dalembert, 6 points, 3 boards.
How much fun was it this morning listening to Samuel Dalembert talk about playing against Ben Wallace and how Ben would smack him upside the head and come into the welcome to the playoffs, little man.
From Haiti with that French accent, he said, Ben Wallace, he's hungry on boards. And 3-second violation. Defensive 3 seconds, so a technical foul.
Dalembert on the offensive end. Iverson finding people now. First couple possessions, he was looking to shoot it every time. Now he's calmed down a bit. And Dalembert, once he learns to stick a fork in it quickly, he'll be much more effective.
See Dalembert call for the defensive 3 seconds, getting an explanation from Ron Garrettson as Billups hits the technical free throw.
Good start for Philadelphia, a chance for the crowd to get into it.
And that was what Jim O'Brien was hoping. The crowd would get him fired up. The key for them, obviously, is to sustain it. The Pistons have this way of wearing you down as the game goes on. Shot clock down to 5.
You got to catch that ball if you're Ben Wallace.
And Iverson, here's the break that they so desperately need, wanting to push the ball and get some transition buckets. Well, as you see, the Pistons got back on D.
They're so interchangeable. All the guys can play virtually any position.
Hamilton off the D'Alembert miss. That was too easy an open shot for him. And there's another steal. Iverson. Prince. And a foul. Prince does a nice thing helping up Iverson try to make one of those spectacular blocks again. But this time Iverson with a chance for the three-point play.
These players better realize that Tayshaun Prince is coming, and he can cover so much ground. Allen slows down as if he got a simple gimme layup. And normally, Allen Iverson will really extend there, but Tayshaun Prince with a supreme effort.
He blocked one of those from Iverson in game 1 that was called a goaltend that shouldn't have been. We have seen some spectacular defensive plays from young Tayshaun Prince, whose development is one of the real stories for Detroit.
He's really one of the most unique players in the entire league. Who does the things that he does with that kind of body? In this era of weightlifting, supplements, and bulking up all the time. Reminds me a lot of Jamal Wilkes in the old days.
Hamilton rattles it in. Prince drawing in the double team. And the thing about Prince, he really doesn't have a weakness. He can shoot, he can handle, he can obviously defend. There's not one real weakness to his game.
And like Jamal Wilkes, did not get pushed around physically, even though you think he would. D'Alembert's everywhere.
Samuel D'Alembert continues to impress. 8 points and 4 rebounds. We asked him about playing so many minutes. He said he loved it. He said playoff games go a lot faster.
Well, fewer fouls called. Pace of the game so intense. Beautiful ball movement. 4 guys involved in that. The screen down by Ben Wallace. Swing from Chauncey Billups across the top to Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton. That's beautiful team basketball by the world champions.
Both teams shooting very well early. Weber gets it to fall as well. And the Sixers back up by 1.
Good thing for Philadelphia right now is that nobody's holding the ball too much. Larry Brown wants a timeout, going to talk things over. Not happy with the defensive rotations. Not closing out quick enough. He can't let Chris Webber get a big run here.
The Sixers fired up. They're down 0-2, but they're back home and the crowd's spurring them on here in the opening period.
Per game, pounding them on the boards, the ball movement by the world champions, field goal percentage and defensive field goal percentage, and then three-point shooting, points in the paint as well, but that's been turned around tonight because right now Philadelphia has outscored the world champion Pistons 12-0 in the paint.
But you can't get carried away because we've seen this before. Sixers have played well early, but it's the tenacious and relentless play of the Pistons that wears you down.
They're such a professional squad. Goaltending call by D'Alembert, which is a nice attempt, but you got to come with a better angle as a shot blocker there and get it quickly out of the shooter's hands. He comes from so far away. Is that the way Patrick Ewing used to play for the Knicks and the Georgetown Hoyas?
Well, D'Alembert couldn't handle a pass, trying to save it, and does. But it goes to Rasheed Wallace. He has about 7 goaltends in this series.
And that puts a little bit of fear in the world champions, always wondering where the big man is.
I don't think it puts any fear, but it makes them think twice as Prince misfires and Iguodala the rebound.
If you don't fear a top shot blocker, you're not doing your job.
D'Alembert doesn't get the rebound, but kept it alive. He's having trouble holding on to the ball. You can see he's so fired up. And Wallace rips it down.
I just don't think he has very good hands.
Prince and a foul. Tayshaun Prince. And Kyle Korver bumped him. So Prince will go to the line for 1.
What a nightmare for Kyle Korver, who is an outstanding player.
They do call the foul, though, on Iguodala, and that's his second.
Transition defense, you've got to be there. A hard foul on the shoulder by Iguodala. I think Iguodala should be the one guarding Tayshaun Prince in the set defense.
Well, Jim O'Brien has been asked that a lot, and he says, who do I put Kyle Korver on? That Rip Hamilton, Chauncey Billups, they're equally difficult matchups. There are some teams that just, the matchups are not in your favor, and that's one of them.
Well, as is the whole team here. This Detroit team is, without question, the worst possible matchup for Philadelphia.
Billups, Wallace, Rasheed Wallace. As you mentioned, the Philly native. He said he was going to turn his cell phone off the whole time he was in Philly. He had so many calls already to get him tickets for friends and family, as the Pistons have gone on a 7-0 run and now lead by 6.
I just wish you'd turn your cell phone off during the game. But Rasheed Wallace in transition, just running like crazy, emphatically throwing it down. Jim O'Brien needs to talk.
As they lead by 6, Jim O'Brien, after game 1, kind of summed up what the Pistons are all about after getting defeated handily, especially in that second half. I was just in the room trying to figure out who the best player on the Pistons is. And I think I came out with a 5-way tie. The thing about this team is you don't know who the leading scorer is going to be from game to game, and they don't care who the leading scorer is going to be.
That ability to selflessly put the team's goals ahead of the individual agendas is what separated the Detroit Pistons the last year and a half.
Meanwhile, the Sixers bench, R1G3 just came into the game, lost that ball on the turnover. And as you see, the leading scorers tonight. Hey, in game 1, the leading scorer was Rasheed Wallace, followed by Prince. In game 2, the leading scorer was Rip Hamilton, followed by Billups.
They're averaging 102 points a game in the playoffs, and they got 5 guys who get double figures every game.
Iverson, good defense on Billups. Shot clock winding down. Rasheed Wallace hits another 3. And now 10 straight points and a 9-point lead.
It's not just the balance, though, Mike. It's the versatility. It's so reminiscent of the great Bulls teams of the 90s when everybody could do everything, and then when things fell apart, they just gave it to Michael Jordan, which is not a bad closing option.
No, it's not. Under 3 minutes remaining. And the Pistons shooting so well from the field. McKee pokes it away, and Dalembert winds up coming with a loose ball.
Find a guard, Samuel, please, quickly. The way they stay at home at Kyle Korver now.
Tried to force it in, and then Korver with a foul, and that's Korver's second personal. You know, you talked about, Bill, before the game, and this was the message from the Sixers. They had to get stops. They had to play better defense. But right now, Detroit, 10 of 13 from the field, 77%.
And it's not as if the Sixers' defense is poor. Red hot, the crowd, they're cheering as Willie Green comes in for the foul-plagued Kyle Korver. And the big cheer, Willie Green doesn't play that much anymore, and the fans really appreciate his game and his effort.
Well, Jim O'Brien does not like to play Green and Iverson together much because he feels it's certainly not one of their better defensive teams. But Korver, again, with some tough matchups, and the fans a little bit of a sarcastic cheer there because they wanted to see more of Green.
Well, the bench problems and limitations. You got Rodney Rogers, who's not in shape, and the inconsistencies of Mark Jackson really put O'Brien in a tough hole.
Boy, good defense from R1G3, and Dalembert with his 5th rebound. Sixers been turning the ball over recent minutes.
But look how Ben Wallace races down to Iverson.
Oh, pretty shot from Allen Iverson. Iverson now at 7.
But when Iverson gets double teamed that far from the basket, somebody's got to be wide open at the hoop.
But when you play against the Pistons, you almost feel like there's 6 guys on the floor defensively. Weber with the deflection. Right now, that's what's keeping them in the game. They're forcing Pistons turnovers. That's what the Sixers do well. They led the NBA in turnovers forced. Weber. Wallace hit it. Crowd wanted a block, but the ball was below the rim. Even though it was touching the rim, it was underneath it.
It has to have a chance of going in for it to be a goaltending violation.
They try an alley-oop, broken up nicely by McKee.
McKee's out in transition. Reward that defensive effort.
6 turnovers for Detroit. Iverson's long 3 won't go. R1G3 couldn't come up with it. Everybody diving on the floor.
Again, versatility. Prince can handle the ball like a guard.
Billups knocks it down. Set up beautifully by Tayshaun Prince.
But the fact that they can take Rasheed Wallace out of the game, who's been magnificent, and then bring in Antonio McDyess, as the Detroit Pistons are 6 for 7 from behind the three-point arc.
And shooting 73%. A huge offensive first quarter.
They know, the Pistons, the importance of this game. Finally, a low post opportunity.
Weber gets it back and can't get it to fall. Dallenberg, another rebound. Dangerous pass. Iverson.
Well, bailed out by Iverson that time. You can just see the limitations physically that have taken their toll on Chris Webber. Not only the injuries, but the age as well. And a lot of hard, heavy minutes carrying franchises.
Shot clock is off as we wind down the first quarter. Prince for three. Rebound, McDyess, blocked by Dallenberg. Green fires it down the floor. Oh, not a bad attempt considering where he was. Dallenberg does his job, but overall, the Sixer defense struggling again. But credit the Piston offense and the way they move the ball. Pistons shoot 65% from the field on the road in the first quarter, including 6 of 8 from three-point range. And the defending champs
are not in our best interest, right?
How much fun to coach a great team where you can just deal with the highest levels of adjustment, strategy, not have to worry about problems on and off the court.
Well, the key again is how unselfish all of these players are. During the regular season, they shot 44%. That was 17th in the league. So far in the first week of the playoffs, they're number 1 in shooting at 51%. As McDyess comes up short, and Willie Green the rebound.
And that 51% is skyrocketing with the way they played here. They shot 65% in the first quarter. Willie Green with a fourth shot. When you're driving the lane against the Pistons, you got to think about kicking it out to spot up shooters.
Rodney Rogers, one of those spot-up shooters, is in the game. He did not play at all in game 2. So Jim O'Brien going to his bench a little earlier. Phillips, that's another 3. Exactly the shot that he didn't want, but Ben Wallace right there for a follow and a foul as Dallenberg picks up his first.
You've got to maintain contact, particularly when you're playing against Ben Wallace, which is what he does. And when you're giving up such a quickness advantage in literally every position, Philadelphia versus Detroit, with the exception of Allen Iverson, that contact and defensive position and presence is ever so important.
And Wallace hits the free throw as well. So Detroit with their largest lead thus far. Wallace filling up the stat sheet nicely. 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and the 5 points.
Zone defense here by the world champion Pistons.
Green trying to force it in. Well, what makes this front line so good, Bill? I mean, you've played against so many
Detroit
good players. What makes it so good?
Physical presence, mental acuity and focus, the willingness to play both ends of the court as a team. Rodney Rogers misses a layup.
But the fact also that they're so quick.
It's basically a 6-arm, 3-headed tetrahydra out there playing defense between both Wallaces and Antonio McDyess.
I get the point. Shot clock down to 7. Wallace. And Wallace with a little offensive game. And the lead has now gone up to 13.
Well, I like the way that they look for Ben Wallace. They often run the first play of the game for him, as they did tonight.
Pistons making it look easy on the offensive end. 62%.
This is not easy, and you can see the effort on the faces of the world champions. Rodney Rogers continues to elicit the boos from the crowd.
Those are the kind of shots they have to get. I mean, he's wide open, and they just have not been falling.
But Rodney's not in good enough shape to play at this level.
Hamilton. Wallace keeps it alive. McDyess keeps it alive, but knocks it out of bounds. But a loose ball foul is going to go. I believe against McDyess, and that's his first.
We had the graphic earlier about the disparity of once the game starts to as it plays out, with the huge advantage to Detroit. A lot of that has to do with the bench. The fact that McDyess comes in, Carlos Arroyo comes in, now Lindsey Hunter's in the ball game, and they just continue the whole play. Well, when Jim O'Brien for Philadelphia goes to the bench, everything falls apart. And that's why he's forced to play his guys the huge minutes.
But you've seen Green and Rogers and McKee already in early, knowing that he's got to give some rest to his starters against this fierce defense for Detroit. Carlos Arroyo in the game guarding Willie Green, but there's Rasheed Wallace looming. Nice shot from Green.
Willie Green just salivating over there, hoping he's going to get an opportunity to play in a big moment like this. Is going to take every opportunity to keep himself on the court.
Arroyo trying to get free. Prince, another three. Knuckleball won't go. And a whistle and a foul. Loose ball foul is going to go against the Sixers. Monty McCutcheon telling Mark Jackson to stop. I don't want to hear it. And as Jackson called for the foul.
Jim O'Brien perplexed up the sideline. It appeared to be it's a normal rebound play. And Jim O'Brien is right in the face of Monty McCutcheon. But as the ball is in the air, the little push in the back, they called that every play. You certainly wouldn't get out of here by June.
Jim O'Brien obviously not happy. Lindsey Hunter in for the first time for Detroit. They do a good job defending the pick and roll that time. And then a foul. Iverson with the steal. Hunter with a smart foul because that would have stopped the fast break. And we'll take a timeout. Just over 3 minutes gone by in the second. Sixers looking for answers. They trail by 11. Speak of the playoffs. And, of course, our NBA calendar. Plenty of games coming up throughout the weekend. Doubleheader on TNT Saturday. On Sunday, we'll have this game 4 on ESPN. Then the Heat and Nets game 4 on ABC. And then another doubleheader Sunday night on TNT. Some great playoff basketball all ahead. And a man who's been bouncing around watching games in different venues, of course, Commissioner David Stern.
A very busy man these days, trying to put the collective bargaining agreement for the future into place. Always at a playoff game, seemingly every night. Doesn't he get worn down from all that travel and standing in the security lines?
You'll have to ask him. Meanwhile, a foul away from the ball is going to go against Detroit. Carlos Arroyo on the hold. Well, he gets the same preferential treatment that you do when you go to airports. And speaking of preferential treatment, Joe Dumars, what he gets in Detroit, first as a great player, and now what an executive. And this team he has put together. Rogers! Oh, Rodney Rogers! With a little exclamation point.
Rodney Rogers obviously got in a lot better shape during that last time out and come out with an explosive thunder dunk. Somebody might want to tell the Pistons that Rodney's still left-handed.
Rogers, of course, had some success playing for Jim O'Brien in Boston. Now trying to help off the bench. Shot clock down to 6. Rasheed Wallace shooting the ball so well. 4 for 5 from the field.
When the guy comes off, turn the corner like that, you got to step out and send him back the other way. Otherwise, the offensive team just gets whatever they want.
Those Sixers have had trouble defending the pick and roll in this series. As Mark Jackson, boy, what a boost that would be. Jackson helped him during the regular season, but coming into this game, 3 for 15 from the field in the first 2 in Detroit.
When Iverson is coming off those double teams, the Pistons are double teaming him literally every time.
Not a good shot from Arroyo, and Aaron McKee the rebound. McKee, the veteran, who's been through a lot of ups and downs here. Rogers 3 won't go. Mark Jackson. Amazing what a jump shot can energize you. And Jackson back-to-back buckets.
The pursuit of the ball on the offensive glass. We've seen it from Samuel Dalembert to set the tone early. Chris Webber did a nice job. Now it's Mark Jackson. This Philadelphia team played with this sort of dedication all the time. They wouldn't be in this desperate hole.
And offensive foul. Rasheed Wallace on a moving pick. And Wallace picks up his first.
Momentum turning. Larry Brown, the poise of the visiting coach, needed. Rip Hamilton, the classic, along with Reggie Miller coming off those screens. Rasheed Wallace, no need to move on that play. Easy violation to identify.
And the Sixer bench helping out. They talked about it as being so important. 8-0, they lead in bench points. Iverson inside, and the lead is cut to 5.
Larry Brown stays with his second unit. No sign of panic at all by the world champions.
And the crowd fired up again. They had some boos earlier. Arroyo gets inside. Pretty feed to McDyess.
Nobody for Detroit forces shots. When they're coming down the lane, they're looking to set up their teammates, as opposed to only doing it as a last resort.
Iverson blocked by Hunter, but a foul. Larry Brown wanted a jump ball. Lindsey Hunter wanted a clean block. And Iverson's going to get 2 free throws.
If you're the Pistons, don't make a big stink out of this. You're playing well. It's a good block from that angle. Maybe another angle will show somebody contact. That looks like all ball right there. If you're playing well, the referees, they know when they make a mistake. Maintain your stature as the world champions. Things will swing back your way.
Now, they're calling out. How is that not a shooting foul?
Confusion reigning supreme.
They should change that. He was in the act of shooting.
Maybe they've not seen Allen Iverson play before.
You have to stop your sarcasm now. Let's take a look. It's obvious that they just missed it. And it's the 14th foul on Detroit. Iguodala throws it away. Rodgers tried to save it, and it's going to be Detroit ball.
The quickness of the second unit. Bring in Carlos Arroyo. Bring in Antonio McDyess, who's agile, mobile. Always first to lose balls in the front court.
Meanwhile, the Sixers should have been to the line for both those free throws. They come away empty. Iguodala with his length in the steal. Drives. Shot won't go, but Rasheed Wallace has picked up his second.
Rasheed a little bit casual on that defensive play right there. Iguodala earning himself a trip to the line.
They haven't been able to say that much. Rasheed Wallace has been brilliant defensively. John here in Philly. Fans fired up again. The Sixers within 7. We'll look at tonight's GMC game track.
It's all happening early for the world champions. Detroit feeding off the brilliance of Tayshaun Prince. 13 points on great shooting, but it's not just the shooting capabilities of Tayshaun, who has the great shake and bake, the penetration and dish. 3-point shooting for the world champion. 6 for 10. Philly can't find it at 1 for 5. And Allen Iverson, who's averaging 24 and 10 assists in this series, already has 11 and 5. He's doing his best, but they're double teaming him so much, and his reluctance to give up the ball and inspire his teammates has plagued the Philadelphia 76ers.
But he's not forcing it tonight, as Iguodala will go to the line. Iguodala, who's gotten a nickname from his teammates, Toys R Us, because he's such a big kid. Aaron McKee was telling us about him. They have so much admiration for him as a kid. He wants to learn, works so hard, but he says he's just a big kid at heart.
I saw him when he first entered college down at the University of Arizona, playing for the Hall of Famer Lute Olson, and it's remarkable what this guy brings to the table. Aaron McKee, who shared that stories about Toys R Us. Haven't said that in a few years. My kids are a lot older than yours.
Well, he said Iguodala, who guards the best player on the other team as a rookie, said, hey, you've got a man's job. Nobody wants your job, and you're doing it. He says Iguodala doesn't realize how good he is and how good he can be. Hamilton to Wallace.
The penetration and then the layoff. The penetration to the kick out for the 3-point shot.
And a technical foul on Rasheed Wallace from the bench. Ronnie Garrettson is not one to listen to too much.
But Rasheed has played so well, there's no need for that. You've got the lead.
There's Wallace pointing up at the score. And fans have been on him, as they are to all opposing teams. It's a tough crowd here in Philadelphia, even though he's a Philly native. Mark Jackson will shoot the technical free throw.
But that's what you love, is coming in on the road in this great sports city with so many things going on. Mark Jackson. Oh. You got Allen Iverson out there, and you got Willie Green. But a couple of moments ago, Rasheed Wallace was receiving the taunts of the crowd, and he walked off, calling down the crowd, and then said, hey, look at the scoreboard right up there.
By the way, Mark Jackson shot 83% from the free throw line during the regular season, so he's a good free throw shooter. And there you see Wallace leading the NBA in technical fouls. Of course, he set an NBA record several years ago. It's always been a problem for him. his game has overshadowed that recently. As Billups called for a foul, and Iverson will shoot a couple, but Wallace several years ago set the NBA record with 41 technicals. And it's a shame, Bill. He's such a talented player, such an unselfish player, and one of the best defenders in the NBA at his position. And for a long time, the technicals overshadowed his ability and what a good teammate he is. Lately, that hasn't been the case. Let's hope it doesn't go back that way.
He's in a situation now where he's got a lot of people covering for him. He's got a coach, he's got teammates playing in the biggest of games who will accept no nonsense at any time.
Well, he still led the league in techs, so he hasn't turned it around.
Come on, he's cut it in half. That's progress, right?
27 is not half of 41, Bill.
Well, just like I can't say Toys R Us anymore, my math skills have definitely dissipated.
I have to let the coach Wood. Hamilton knocks down a three. And just when they start getting a little momentum, that happens.
But look how many people handle the ball on every possession. The balls swing from one side to the other. Over the top. One guy, kick it to the weak side. There's guys open everywhere. Just pick who you want to knock down a jumper, and you got Rip Hamilton from behind the line.
And a lead back up to 9 as we go into 5 minutes. Weber is back in the game. Iverson puts it in. Iverson playing efficiently. He's 6 for 10 with 5 assists.
Iverson has never been a percentage shooter, but 35% will not get it done, which he was doing cumulatively in the first 2 games.
Iguodala trying to defend Prince. Billups wide open. And Willie Green helping out. Green's brought a little spark off the bench. Iverson again.
That is exactly what Philadelphia needs. Some defense, force a tough shot, get the rebound, a quick outlet, and then Iverson in transition. The fans ecstatic.
Waving their white towels here at the Wachovia Center. The Pistons had built a 13-point lead, but Iverson and his teammates have climbed back into it.
Forget with waving the white towels. No surrender in Allen Iverson whatsoever. Who can guard this guy in transition? Just too good, too quick. Average in NBA playoff history. Michael Jordan, the only one above. Jordan played 179 games. Jerry West, 153 games. Shaq, 160 games. That is quite the list that Allen Iverson is in second place on.
Ben Wallace just kind of flips it up. Rebound knocked around. Philly ball. Many people, Bill, including Larry Brown, felt this was Iverson's best complete year as a pro. At a career high in assists in addition to leading the NBA in scoring. Of course, Brown and Iverson together for 6 years here in Philadelphia. Last year was tough for him. He missed 34 games because of injuries. They missed the playoffs.
But how about the year they went to the finals and he was the MVP? That was a pretty good year for him.
Weber trying to find room against Ben Wallace. It's just not there, but he's still able to put it in.
And that's the beauty of the jump hook. That even without the physical supremacy, you can get it going.
They've made now, Philadelphia, 8 of their last 9 shots from the field.
But you can see that Chris cannot even get the hitch going. He has to basically spin it around, do a pirouette to find the rhythm and motion.
Billups knocks it down. And Iverson, I don't know if he was pointing to himself, but he needs to do a better job fighting over those screens and getting a hand in somebody's face.
And that's one of the problems with Allen Iverson's defensive approach, which is based on getting steals and getting out in transition.
And a foul on Ben Wallace. Pistons in the penalty. That shot won't count, but Weber will shoot 2 free throws.
Good to see that Chris Weber can still dunk.
So Weber goes to the line. It's only the 7th and 8th free throw attempt for Philly here in this first half. Weber with 6 points so far. As you said, averaging 21 a game in the series, but low on the rebounds. Just to remind you, check out NBA TV for highlights, press conferences, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes action during the entire postseason. NBA TV, your home for complete playoff coverage.
Well, Chris Weber in Game 1 of this series, when he had 27, he tied a career playoff high for 3-pointers in that game, 3 for 5 shooting. Well, I think Weber needs the ball more in a passing situation, a playmaking situation.
Well, it's not easy to get Weber and Iverson playing together. Both guys have always played with the balls. Hamilton rattles in and out, but McDyess the rebound.
No force whatsoever. Guy gets an offensive rebound, bring it out, start it again, and then set the guy up for a dunk attempt.
Wallace thought he was fouled. Yells at Monty McCutcheon. Dalembert very upset. He thought he got pushed off.
But Dalembert can't be too emotional out there.
And Prince calmly sinks it. With Prince developing that mid-range jumper so well.
Well, we learned from the ESPN magazine article this week about Tayshaun Prince that he picked up that shooting ability from summer lessons with Chauncey Billups, the finals MVP. Who better to teach him how to shoot?
Well, Billups told us a couple of weeks ago when we asked him who's the MVP of this team, he said it was Tayshaun Prince. His versatility gives them a new dimension. And whistle, that shot won't count. Foul before the shot, and it's going to be the third team foul, so the Pistons will take it out.
Wide open, just coming off. Now, that flailing hand at the end, that means nothing. You practice that your whole life. The shot was taken and delivered. Now, Tayshaun does not have a quick release. Not like, say, a Kyle Korver does, or a Reggie Miller, or Ray Allen. Over the top.
Alley-oop. Wallace didn't handle it, but gets it back. Shot clock is down to 7.
You see how high Ben was? I mean, he almost put his head on the rim.
And McDyess can't get it before. Wallace keeps it alive again. But Iguodala, ball still loose. And Dalembert lost it. Whoa. And a foul on Ben Wallace. Terrific hustle from both teams.
Samuel Dalembert better think about blocking Ben Wallace out. This is like a practice session for Ben Wallace, where he's got guys just lobbing him up at the basket area to try to get a dunk here. And this is a very dangerous play.
I said Ben Wallace, excuse me, it was obviously Antonio McDyess who picks up his second foul. And Dalembert will go to the free throw line. So Dalembert to shoot 2.
But Dalembert is one of those promising young players, a free agent at the end of this year. So Billy King, the general manager for Philadelphia, he's got his hands full in terms of keeping this unit together. Kyle Korver, the other one. Both of them have earned major league paydays for their next contracts.
Dalembert with 7 rebounds already. Misses both free throws. They're 6 of 10 from the line, Philly.
Watching Ben Wallace play is simply inspirational. The things that he does. He just got 1 rebound there, but I tell you what, he's scaring everybody else from coming in the next time.
Hamilton fouled on his way to the hoop. And Philly now on the penalty. They're going to call it against Chris Webber. So Webber picks up his first.
Philadelphia very fortunate that Chris Webber only has 1 foul at this point. The way that the big men for the world champion Pistons have been pummeling that basket there. Webber just a non-factor in terms of a physical presence.
Hamilton hits the first. Following our game, stay tuned to ESPN for Game 3 of the Sonics and the Sacramento Kings. Sonics won the first 2 in Seattle. Now at Arco Arena. Mike Tirico, Tom Tolbert, and Jim Gray is going to have all the action. That's coming up a little later. Hamilton from Portsville, Pennsylvania. Another guy had to get a lot of extra tickets tonight. He almost went to Temple University. Of course, wound up going to UConn. Pretty good choice for him. But nearly went to Temple, being from the area.
Well, both of those college coaches in the Hall of Fame. Now that's a big-time move by Chris Webber there.
Webber gets it back in a reaching foul called on Chauncey Billups. And Webber will go to the line as Billups picks up his second foul. All right, Bill, what do you like from what you've seen from Philadelphia here in the first half?
Ball movement, contributions from numerous players, not just the one-man team that we're so used to seeing with Allen Iverson having his way. But Chris Webber has done a nice job. Samuel Dalembert, a positive contribution in a lot of different areas. Willie Green came off the bench when Kyle Korver got in some foul trouble right now.
Well, to mention Willie Green and even Mark Jackson came in, hit a couple of buckets. They need that productivity from the bench.
it has not been there for Jim O'Brien, who has struggled mightily to try to find a rotation. Now, granted, most coaches tighten up that rotation in the playoffs, but just 7 guys when you got some talent out there, you know you can't play Weber the whole time. D'Alembert is going to get in foul trouble, going to get frustrated at times. This is a team game.
Weber has 10 points. Final minute, first half. Korver back in the game. Green slow getting out on the screen. And Ben Wallace with a rebound.
I'm a little surprised with the coaching pedigree that the Sixers have on their bench, from Jim O'Brien to Dick Harder to Lester Connor to all the guys they have over there, that somebody hasn't made mention of the fact that you got to put a body on Ben Wallace. And Samuel D'Alembert, who's got that responsibility and obligation, is just turning and floating to the basket.
I want you to apologize to that coaching staff right now, because I guarantee you they've all mentioned to put a body on Ben Wallace. Well, Weber with his second foul. So come on, say you're sorry.
Okay. Well, whose fault is it?
Well, it's the players not doing it.
Is it the teacher? Are they getting their certificates of authenticity? Or is it the students who are not picking up the lessons?
I also want you to say you're sorry for something you'll say in the second half. I don't want to know what it is yet, but
I apologize for every transgression I've ever done.
Rodney Rogers with a 3. And the bench has really helped out the Sixers here in the first half. Korver on Prince. Ben Wallace, another rebound, his 7th. Somebody should put a body on him.
Really?
There's about a 3-second difference between shot and game clock.
Look at the arm span of Tayshaun Prince. So poised, so confident.
That's the word I was just thinking of, is poise. He never seems rattled. The Royal block. Rogers keeps it alive. Iverson looks up to see how much time, and they don't get it off in time.
The one time he should have shot. Come on, Allen, jack up some shots out there. Enough of the team game here, please.
But the Sixers have to feel pretty good about themselves. After trailing by as many as 13 and hearing some boos, they storm back nicely. Coming up, halftime, the Toyota Halftime Show. John Saunders, Greg Anthony, Tim Legler, and Stephen A. Smith will preview the Sonics and the Kings, Game 3 from Sacramento. An update on Antoine Walker as well, suspended for the next game in that series. Iverson, very strong, playing an efficient first half. He had 17 points and 5 assists. Such a huge game for Philly. Down 0-2 in this best-of-7 series. They're down 3 at half. Halftime of Game 3 there in Philadelphia. And the Pistons leading by 3, but they had a 13-point advantage. Were dominating again, but the 76ers turned it around nicely in a game they really have to win. Hi again, everyone, with Bill Walton, Mike Breen on hand. They're up by 13, and the Sixers turned it around. Of course, Pistons, the usual play we've seen from them, the strong defense and the balance offensively.
The story remains the same for the world champions. They come to play every night, and they win the biggest of games as they've controlled this one with their balanced scoring. Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace comes up with 4 big offensive rebounds. Rasheed Wallace did get a technical, but the three-point shooting for Rasheed very early was nice, as well as the strong play for Rip Hamilton.
Meanwhile, Allen Iverson, an efficient first half, but he got a lot of help, and the bench really was a big spark for them.
And that's been a major problem for Philadelphia most of the season, and in this series as well, as they've been outscored by 13 in the 2 games prior to tonight. But Willie Green tonight sparked a whole plethora of guys coming to the hoop. Rodney Rogers able to find some lift somewhere, and then with Allen Iverson double team constantly, relentlessly, other guys, Mark Jackson stepping away. And now in this game tonight, Game 3 of this playoff series, in the first half, the Piston bench only got 2 points. Philadelphia's bench got 11. Very strong. Rodney Rogers with 5 of those 11.
In the first quarter, Detroit shot 65% from the field. In the second quarter, 36%. And those are the kind of numbers Jim O'Brien has been wanting better defense. Well, he received it in the second quarter. But of course, it's the second half that has been all Pistons in this series so far. And Rasheed Wallace has had huge second halves, especially third quarters.
And Samuel D'Alembert is matched up with Rasheed down in the low post.
Hamilton, tough shot with a hand in his face.
Well, the physical fitness level of this Detroit squad so determined to come back and get that second championship. One of only 15 squads in NBA history to win a championship as it is. Now Weber, what can he do?
Comes up short, and Billups with the rebound. And Korver with the steal, but not before there was a foul. Chris Webber just before the steal, and Weber's got 3.
A tough way to start the half of your first possession. Things have gone so well for you with ball movement, getting everybody involved, and then Chris Webber, without any explosiveness whatsoever, just comes out, tries a ill-advised one-on-one move, fading away from the hoop.
There you see the starting 5, maybe the best starting 5 in the NBA. Bad pass, but Rasheed Wallace still able to get it. Nice feed inside, and there again, the great ball movement.
The vision, the willingness to give it up. When these guys have the ball, their first thought is, okay, how can I make my teammate the star? What could be better than that?
Well, Ben Wallace, who had 12 points in the first 2 games of this series combined, has 13 here in Game 3.
Step out by Rasheed Wallace, forcing Iverson to back off.
Iguodala wide open and knocks down a 2. His foot was on the line. The rookie with his first field goal.
And with Iverson holding the ball so long, so many of the teammates for AI just get frustrated and stand around there wondering when that ball, or if it will show up.
Well, he's done a good job in getting rid of it pretty quickly tonight. Hamilton, the floater. Again, a hand in his face. And Rip Hamilton with a couple of buckets to start the third.
But a great job by the world champion Pistons of attacking Iverson. They know that he has got to come up with a huge scoring night to keep Philadelphia in it, wear him out on the defensive end.
Tough shot that time. 19 for Iverson.
And that is why I voted for Allen Iverson for first team All-NBA. Although it was a tough call between Iverson and Tracy McGrady, who's playing the best basketball of his career.
Iverson, again, efficient tonight. 8 of 13 from the field.
62% for Allen Iverson, a career 42% shooter.
And an offensive foul. Richard Hamilton, that's his second.
Iverson's ability to create for himself. It doesn't get any more difficult than that. You're going up against a guy who's younger, who's bigger, who's stronger, who can jump higher. The only edge that Iverson has is quickness.
Number 1 in the NBA in scoring for Iverson. Number 1 in the NBA in total steals.
One of the 4 players to ever win 4 scoring titles. Jordan, Wilt, Gervin being the other ones, all Hall of Famers, all members of the NBA's all-time team.
Weber just 3 of 13 from the field. And a foul away from the ball. It's going to go against D'Alembert, and that's D'Alembert's second personal.
No flow to the game whatsoever. Whistles every time, and this is usually the critical part. This is, as a ball player, this is the most fun part. The start of the third quarter on the road. A chance to come out and just make it all happen.
Well, this start of the third quarter has been the huge part for Detroit in the first 2 games. This might not be a bad thing, this bad flow. Philadelphia trying to disrupt the rhythm. Shot clock winding down. Oh, Hamilton off to a terrific start here in the third.
Detroit is torching Allen Iverson defensively. Now Ben Wallace is up there pressing Allen Iverson all over the court as an offensive foul. Unbelievable.
And Wallace showing his versatility defensively, and you see the respect there that Iverson has for him. That's why he's a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Unbelievable how a guy his size can do this.
This is a center. He's guarding the second quickest man in basketball. In the backcourt, 90 feet from the hoop, and he draws the offensive foul, and all Iverson can do is go and pick him up and say, you're good.
And Wallace fouled on the entry pass. Korver on the reach in 3 on Korver, who's having a tough time, as the lead is now 7.
The only big man I've ever seen be able to do anything like that was Akeem Olajuwon.
Iverson, meanwhile, with a technical foul. He's still arguing with Monty McCutcheon.
Poise and patience. Now Weber getting into it as well.
Well, Weber's actually was trying to get him away, and Iverson said, I'll be okay. Let me just talk to him. Iverson obviously feeling he doesn't deserve the technical, but at this point, with your team down 0-2, you have to just forget about arguing with officials. You can't take a chance of giving away a point like that.
They've already called it. Why argue now? Wait till a more opportune time when they're not putting the television camera on you and embarrassing the referee by calling him out publicly.
Well, he did the second part in a respectful manner by going over trying to explain himself, and McCutcheon let him talk. But lots of times it's a cumulative technical foul in terms of constant arguing. Wallace, Rasheed keeps it alive. Ben Wallace with a pretty pass, but couldn't hold on. And Iguodala comes out of the pack.
There was 3 Sixers there, and the Pistons still came up with the ball. That's how good they are.
Dalembert calling for the ball. Tipped in beautifully by Iguodala.
Sixers trying desperately to hang on. One thing that would really help them is quicker ball movement. They're reluctant to throw that snap pass before the defense can even react.
But the defense for the Pistons reacts so well. And good defense, team defense that time from Philly to force that turnover. 12 turnovers right now for Detroit.
Larry always just seems so happy when he's coaching.
He's at his happiest when he's at practice. There is no question. Iverson long on that one.
The defensive rebounding capabilities of the Pistons is just superb. They got so much length, the position.
Number 1 in the NBA in rebound margin. Weber pulls down a rebound, his 4th.
Great outlet, something in transition, much needed here for Korver.
Korver hits a 3. That's only his 2nd shot of the entire game. And he's hit both to pull the Sixers within 3.
But Korver's game is trailing Iverson. And what Larry Brown has done is identified that strength and key for Philadelphia, and they've eliminated it. They stay at home on Kyle Korver. He was covered beautifully that time.
They've done a magnificent job defending him. He led the NBA tied for number 1 in 3-point field goals made. Set a franchise record. Shot clock at 1. Phillips has to put it up. Oh, Phillips puts it in.
A bailout shot that time, but Allen Iverson, who leads the league in steals almost every year, he's just gambling so much, and the Pistons are making him pay every single time.
Pistons 8 for 13 from 3. Iverson gets inside, count it, and 1. He hasn't found a lot of room in the paint that time with a 3-point play opportunity.
When he comes down that lane, everyone is there. They're just waiting on him. They know that he's disappeared. They've eaten him alive. It just engulfed him, and he popped out the other side. It's like a surfer on a giant tidal wave coming out of the tube.
A surfer reference. Iverson pulls him back within 3. 22.
You've been to the beach before, haven't you, Mike?
Bad for your skin. Wallace comes right back with a 3.
Detroit starts the 3rd quarter here shooting 6 for 8 from the field. That is a sign of a true champion.
He has to be careful now in terms of taunting the crowd or an opponent as Iverson hits the shot. Because remember, Rasheed Wallace already has a technical foul. The officials have talked a lot. In fact, late in the regular season, they all received a memo about call technicals on players taunting the crowd, and he's got to be careful. You see both teams shooting extremely well here in the 3rd.
Oh, great move, Phillips.
And Weber with a foul. That's going to be his 4th.
Again, attacking Iverson. Larry Brown's game plan tonight has been a thing of beauty, and the Pistons have executed it to perfection.
So free throws coming up for Detroit.
They trail by a handful here. They are plus 10, Philadelphia is, in points in the paint. Philadelphia is plus 5 in second chance points and plus 5 in fast break points.
They just want a chance at the end. They have not had that in the first 2 games. The 76ers, one of the best teams in the NBA, close games. 11-4 in games decided by 3 points or less, but we still got a long way to go before the final minutes.
What a change of pace by Iverson.
Iguodala, hop step, knocks it down. Iguodala for 3.
Remember when they drafted him and said he couldn't shoot? They said the same thing about LeBron James, who seemed to have a pretty good year.
Iguodala says, just wait a couple of years. I'm going to shoot as well as Kyle Korver. I'm going to work on my game and become a very good shooter. That's what they love about him, his desire to improve. Shot clock down to 5. Prince gets inside. Oh, beautiful move from Prince.
Is there any other player in the league that does what he does? as a small forward.
Tracy McGrady.
Isn't Tracy a guard? The 80s was the dominant power small forward here. Iverson just in a zone right now.
Iverson with 26 points, 9 assists. And the Sixers now shooting 53%, the Pistons 54%.
One of the really good things is Jim O'Brien focused on keeping the Pistons out of transition opportunities.
Hamilton bumped on that mask as he bumped in Iguodala. And a defensive 3 seconds, so a technical foul.
Watch Iverson right here. Everybody was going to come in on Iverson along that baseline. There's 5 guys right there, but it's this man in the corner who's going to end up wide open. And that's what you want in developing this team and inspiring your squad to come up. But the very next time down, Iverson to the hoop. Everybody's thinking he might pass it this time, and the versatility of Iverson, thinking he's coming down that lane and freezing guys, keeping them on the ground defensively, has got Larry Brown in the Rodin Museum pose, which is also just down the street from the art museum that we just saw.
2-point lead for the Pistons. Your versatility is amazing. Prince.
Your sarcasm.
Wallace can't hit that 3. Prince trying to run it down. And D'Alembert with the hustle play. Here comes Iverson. Iguodala for 3. And Ben Wallace nearly tips it out of bounds. Well, this place was ready to explode if that one went down.
You got to find Kyle Korver in that situation. Iguodala is a good shooter, but nothing like Kyle Korver.
Hamilton. Iguodala doesn't go for the fake.
Hey, this crowd is lathered up right now.
Good defense from Iguodala. Ben Wallace can't get it to fall. Ball knocked around.
Spread the floor. Give Iverson some room. Trail behind him if you're Korver.
Iverson, crossover. Inside, blocked by Rasheed Wallace. Still Sixer ball. Rasheed Wallace, we said this the other game, Ben Wallace gets so much of the recognition, deservedly so, for his defense, but Rasheed Wallace is a great defensive player.
Well, he's a great basketball player who's off-court and on-court problems.
Rogers ties the game with 3.5 to play in the third.
So the bench continues to contribute mightily, forcing Larry Brown into yet another sculpted moment here.
A standing ovation for the 76ers as Larry Brown calls timeout. They trail by as many as 13. They're down 0-2 in the series, but it's all even right now.
And thank you from Citi.
Here in Philadelphia, the 76ers climbing back from 13 down to tie it here in Game 3 of this best-of-7 series. They were beaten badly in the first 2 games at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and teams down 0-2. It's not been easy, and it's been rare when they come back to win the series. But Chris Webber said the other day, hey, we feel we can win tonight, meaning Game 3, and then just take it from there. All we have to worry about is Game 3, and so far they've done a good job.
This is a must-win game for Philadelphia.
McDyess has been quiet. D'Alembert got a piece of it.
And Philadelphia has never won a series after going down 0-2.
And look at the shooting. And this is against perhaps the best defense in the NBA. Iverson, oh, tough shot. And the 76ers have regained the lead.
How do you describe that? How do you defend it? How do you match wits and imagination with something like that?
He's got 28. McDyess. Hamilton, that's a 3. Sixer ball.
Allen Iverson doing everything. So creative, so explosive. How does he get through there? He's got 2 guys blocking the shots. Allen, the littlest guy in the entire game, is just torching all these giants.
One of the most unique pro athletes in any sport, considering his size and what he's able to do. He puts up a 3. And Prince with a good 2-handed rebound.
There is nothing like the home court crowd in the playoffs.
Ball kicked by Korver.
We saw that in Chicago. That was so inspirational. Now witnessing it here in Philadelphia?
Well, they didn't have any playoffs last year, and they love their postseason like every city. But this is a great, great crowd that have been fired up. Alley-oop and a foul. D'Alembert with the foul. And Wallace will go to the line. And Samuel D'Alembert picks up his third.
Detroit executes so well. They get what they want. Easy play to call. Hard foul. And you want the weak side to come, but that can be an extremely dangerous play.
Ben Wallace only 43% from the free throw line during the regular season, putting up some good numbers tonight, even offensively. As Mark Jackson's going to come back in. Remind you to log on to NBAstore.com for official 2005 playoffs merchandise. Get your Sixers and Pistons Destination Finals t-shirt now, so gear up for the playoffs at NBAstore.com. Wallace 4 for 4 from the line tonight.
The physical maturity of Ben Wallace, which sets the tempo for this World Championship squad. I mean, every one of these guys are in tip-top shape, and they just wear you down. They may not be the biggest, they may not be the strongest or the fastest, but they're certainly the toughest.
Right now, it's all tied as we're coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the third. Willie Green provided a bit of a spark in the first half. Iguodala against Prince. Green for three. Fight for the rebound. The officials looking for help. Greg Willard underneath wants help. Monty McCutcheon says Sixer ball.
The referee, the furthest away from the play, made the call.
But that happens a lot. Sometimes the closest official is blocked out or has a bad angle. But Greg Willard, rather than guessing, said, I need help.
Larry Brown saying, how could you see that play from that far away? That ball looked to be off of the white jersey.
Under 2 minutes in the third. Iverson fires away. That one rattles around the rim.
Can Willie Green do anything defensively against Rip Hamilton here? Now here's the matchup finally. Iguodala on Tayshaun Prince.
Ben Wallace has been an offensive force tonight. Shot clock at 6. Down to 2. Hamilton. Oh, Rich Hamilton.
The ability to rise up into the defender's face. Phillips can do it. Hamilton, of course. Tayshaun Prince is developing that skill.
Hamilton 8 of his 18 here in the third. Iverson picked up his dribble. He's tied up. Iguodala.
Iverson's doing a lot of standing.
Rogers hits the three. And the Sixers regain the lead. Final minute of the third quarter in Philadelphia. 8 for 13 from downtown.
If you're Detroit, start punishing Iverson on the defensive end. Set some mammoth screens with the Wallaces. Run at him at every possible opportunity.
Ball knocked away by Iverson. Philly ball. Andre Iguodala's defense on Tayshaun Prince there was a thing of beauty. Prince had that big first quarter where he had 13 points. But Iguodala has done an excellent job on him.
When Philadelphia started this series with Kyle Korver on Tayshaun Prince, I'm saying to myself, what's going on here? Got Andre Iguodala to guard this guy.
Rogers, another three. Bang! And the Sixers with a 4-point lead. A 12-point turnaround for Philadelphia here in the third quarter. There's about a 2.5-second difference between shot and game clock. Ben Wallace, strong finish.
How about the hands by Ben Wallace that time? Just snake that ball out of the air.
Iverson, and it won't count. Did not get it off in time. And that will end the third quarter, but a very strong one for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Should have tried to find Rodney Rogers right there. He's the one with the hot hand. Milk this crowd, which is surging toward the court.
The Sixers shooting the ball well, as Larry Brown wants an explanation. Doubleheader Saturday on TNT, including the Mavericks and Rockets from Houston. On Sunday, 2 games. First at ESPN, we'll be here for Philadelphia's Game 4 against the Pistons and the Heat and the Nets from Jersey. And then a doubleheader Sunday night on TNT, including the Suns and Grizzlies, Sonics and Kings. Both teams playing their Game 3s tonight. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, in the first 2 games of this series, scored 85 points in Game 1, 84 points in Game 2. They've got 80 already as we begin the 4th. Iverson keyed inside. Jackson struggling with it, gets it back and draws the foul. Ben Wallace will pick up the personal, and that's his second.
Beautiful explosiveness by Mark Jackson that time. A player who's normally noted for pump faking excessively in the lane, hoping somebody's going to bite. That time, positioned himself well, got the elbows out, just went straight up and earned the trip to the line.
Mark Jackson, born and raised in Philadelphia, went to Roman Catholic High School. And, of course, went to college at Temple. It was always his dream to play for the 76ers, but last year he missed 57 games. He had a broken finger. He said it was the most disappointing part of his career. He so wanted to play well in his hometown. Says wearing the Philadelphia jersey means so much to him. And this year provided good punch off the bench. He has struggled the first 2 games, but he's had a real nice impact here in Game 3.
The bench has done an overall terrific job, including Rodney Rogers, who's got 13 points. Mark Jackson, those boos were not for him. The crowd would not boo a local boy here. They were booing the local boy who now plays for the other team, Rasheed Wallace.
A lot of Philly guys here tonight. Philly fans proud of that, but they'll boo the opponent. They don't care where you're from. Ben Wallace, tough catch in traffic.
Imagine if Samuel Dalembert had Ben Wallace's hands. When that ball comes anywhere near Ben Wallace, he's not giving up.
Iverson does his Curly Neal impression. Korver, quick shot. Oh, Korver puts it in, a 3-pointer. Korver has not shot much, but he's 3 for 3. All of them from downtown.
Well, to break down defensively, the plan is no matter what happens, never leave Kyle Korver. That's his game. He is in such superb condition. He can get that shot off with just a fraction of a space there.
And it's the largest lead for the 76ers, a 5-point advantage. Hamilton tied up and gets away. Kept alive by Ben Wallace, and he's fouled by Mark Jackson.
Kyle Korver is in constant motion. He's just thinking, what's Iverson doing? But to try to read Allen Iverson's thought process in that situation, just be always ready to step right into it. And that flick of the wrist that he has, along with the Ray Allen and the Reggie Miller, just a thing of beauty. Really one of the game's great 3-point shooters.
He set a franchise record for 3-pointers made in the season. Broke Dana Barris's old record is Hamilton. Oh, Richard Hamilton. Starting to really get hot in the second half. He's got 20 points. He was their leading scorer during the regular season. And an offensive foul, Mark Jackson. Jackson not happy as he picks up the personal. That's his 3rd.
Rip Hamilton. Unbelievable how this guy can't make the NBA All-Star team, but the ability of Hamilton to just get the ball, put it on the floor, get in the air in the defender's face. I mean, that is great coaching. Growing up with the ball in your hand, playing for a Hall of Famer, Jim Calhoun up in Connecticut, now Larry Brown.
And becoming a complete player. Alley-oop, Ben Wallace. Oh, perfect pass.
And you know what's great is that this Piston team, they're happy with their teammates' accomplishments and success. They're not saying, oh, he's getting all the publicity, he's getting all the money, he's getting all the shots, the attention.
Korver steps back. Can't hit that one. And Ben Wallace tips the rebound to himself. Wallace has 21 points. The most he's ever scored in an NBA game is 22.
This is a rebounding clinic, though, by Ben Wallace. Tipping the ball to himself. Great ball movement right back.
Korver does a good job on Prince initially. Puts a hand up. Excellent defense from Kyle Korver. And the fans enjoy chanting air ball. Hard screen set by Jackson. Opens it up for Iverson.
But that is just a flawless shot. So he comes off, bouncing off everybody. Rasheed Wallace steps out right in his face with that 7-foot wingspan, and Iverson teardrops it right over him.
Iverson has 30. Hamilton. And Ben Wallace now has the most points he's ever scored in an NBA game, and he does it in the playoffs. 23 for Ben Wallace.
Philadelphia might want to rethink their strategy. I'm not sure Ben Wallace is going to miss that shot very often. Iverson.
And Allen Iverson remains hot.
What a great game. Back and forth. Lead changes, ties, inspirational performances.
Iverson again, he's been very efficient. 14 for 23. 32 points, 11 assists. Shot clock down to 7. Rasheed Wallace with a hand in his face. And Mark Jackson the rebound.
The pump fake killed Wallace that time.
And there's that body you wanted somebody to put on Ben Wallace. Iverson. Iverson has played the entire game. He's not shot at all.
He's not coming out. No, he's only shot 4 free throws. And that's one of the strategies for Larry Brown, to keep Iverson, the game's best scorer, off the line.
And a foul call. Mark Jackson got there a little late and picks up his 4th foul.
Allen Iverson has put on a show tonight. The high dribble, puts it right down, that change of pace, calls out Big Rasheed and says, too late. But Ben Wallace with the career high, not just career playoff high, but a career high in general, 23 points. He's not going to miss that shot very often. Iverson stepping back. No matter who they put on him, he's just too good. That's why he's a 4-time NBA scoring champion.
In the back with a quarter from a fan at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Fortunately, the fans around that particular spectator pointed him out. The man was arrested to be charged. Good work from those people. Iverson got hit, didn't respond, and just had a long, long night. But he came back and said he'll be ready to get that first victory for the Sixers tonight, and he has done everything in his power to do so.
That unfortunate incident took place with just a couple minutes to go. Allen sitting on the bench at the end, and he handled it very well. He didn't really know what it was initially. And he said, why would the fans be upset at me? I just stunk it up here and allowed the home team to get a much-needed victory. Allen has come back and done everything he's been able to do for his home fans tonight.
Meanwhile, Hamilton now 4 for 4 from the line. Rip Hamilton having a terrific game. 22 points and 11 assists.
For some reason, Allen's trying to dry the bottom of his shoes off as he's advancing the ball up the court.
Inside, D'Alembert. Oh, nice pass from Chris Webber.
Beautiful execution out of the dead ball there. Now, Ben Wallace, who rarely complains, was yelling at Greg Willard, the referee, that he was held and grabbed on that cross screen to free up D'Alembert.
It has been a very physical game, but the officials have done a good balance in letting him play, but at the same time not getting it carried away. Korver, good defense on Prince. Shot clock at 1. Hamilton's got to get it off and does not get it off in time. Oh, they wave it off, and that was the right call.
As Philadelphia has extended their defense, using the crowd for inspiration and adrenaline here, Detroit has found themselves working against the shot clock expiring too many times.
That's the 14th turnover for the Pistons, only 7 for Philly. Webber knocks it down. And they say a 3-pointer, so this is their largest lead of the game. Chris Webber with 13 points. Well, the defense has turned it around for Philadelphia. Prince with a hand in his face. Tough shot. Ben Wallace another rebound, and he's fouled. Iverson hit him in the head. Iverson already has a technical. He has to be careful.
Great defense by Chris Webber, who stepped over to help on Tayshaun Prince, but that exposes the weak side rebounding liabilities of Samuel D'Alembert. When your power forward steps out to contest a shot, that weak side rebound has to be the center's.
D'Alembert has done an excellent job on the rebounds in this series as Billups drives, wanted a foul. And it's still Detroit ball, 17 on the shot clock.
A rare time when you see the Pistons start looking at the referees and whining and complaining, making excuses. They've been outworked here in the second half by this surging home team.
Iguodala now on Hamilton. Wallace to Wallace. And a foul as Ben Wallace gets knocked down. And Philly fans appreciative of the physical effort they've seen from their team.
Interesting double team here. I'm not sure why you want to keep that double team going. Hamilton's not looking to shoot that ball. The strength in it. D'Alembert just comes back and body slams Ben Wallace.
D'Alembert, his fourth foul. And you see Wallace, his most points he's ever scored in an NBA game. And how about this? 6 for 6 from the line. And he's one of the worst free throw shooters in the league.
Not in the league, in the history of basketball.
This is one time I'll let you use that superlative.
It's accurate. It's not a superlative, that's a fact.
We're coming up to the midway point of the fourth, along with Bill Walton, Mike Green on hand, as the 76ers trying to get themselves back in this series.
Oh, great ball fake, Chris Webber.
And knocks it down. And the lead is now 7.
Larry Brown, what to do about it? Chris Webber putting on a clinic and celebrating with his new teammates.
Another standing ovation here in Philadelphia. The 76ers against perhaps the best defensive team in the NBA, shooting 6 of 8 from the field here in the fourth quarter. And they lead by 7.
NBA playoffs on ESPN, home of the Western Conference Finals.
Back from 13 down to take a 7-point lead. And time for tonight's edition of Gatorade Cooler Talk.
Everybody around the cooler figuring out what AI is going to do. Is he going to be able to bring enough? And certainly he has answered those questions, taking it to everybody, often 5 at a time. Allen Iverson, they can't control the guy. Torching him with teardrop jumpers, runners down the lane, impossible to describe shots. And that is our Gatorade Cooler Talk.
Before the game, wanted to get a little luck. A replica of the Larry Brown trophy. Young fan got a thrill.
That young man will not sleep tonight.
He's not letting go of that trophy.
Great screen by Wallace.
Hard foul. Iverson went down hard as Phillips misses and Webber pursues that rebound.
One thing we've seen different from Philadelphia tonight is the physical presence in the paint. The bench scoring, massive advantage for Philadelphia tonight after getting pummeled over in the Motor City.
Iguodala hits a three. Andre Iguodala, his second three-pointer of the game. And this place exploding now as the Sixers lead by 10. Hamilton gets inside. Oh, pretty move from Hamilton.
For a team, Detroit not noted as a fast-breaking squad, they sure can put points on the board in a short period of time. Took about 3 seconds off the shot clock to get right back.
Hamilton fights over the screen. Webber for 3. And Phillips comes away. Wallace, single coverage with Webber, former teammates in Washington. And Wallace takes advantage.
Just too big and too good, but I like the fact that Philadelphia is not double teaming in that situation. That mindless, senseless double teaming just creates all kinds of problems in the big picture.
Webber steps out again, and Chris Webber starting to get hot. He's got 17.
No hesitation whatsoever. No sense of doubt or indecision. Pull the trigger. Iverson's creating. The other guys are delivering with the finish.
Webber's had a tough time since that trade from Sacramento. Phillips, wild shot, and he draws the foul. Iverson complaining, but that's the same type of foul that he gets sometimes. Webber, meanwhile, picks up his 5th foul.
But it's hard to see how this is a foul on Chris Webber. I mean, he just got his hands up. The whirling dervish of Chauncey Billups down the lane. And there's always going to be contact. I just don't see a foul on Chris Webber there at all. If anything, I'd call an offensive foul, and that'd be dubious at best.
Billups, meanwhile, hits the free throw near Webber. One foul away from fouling out. As we said, it's not been easy for him since he's been here. He's been booed. He's had some poor play, but he has a lot of pride. And for Aaron McKee and Webber and Allen Iverson all talk to the younger players on the Sixers. Talk to them about, yeah, we were down 0-2. We got beat badly, but it's a long series and we're coming home, and be prepared to fight. And the veterans have led the way. Iverson, tough shot. D'Alembert knocked out of his hands by Billups, but it's still Sixer ball with 9 on the shot clock. And
Allen Iverson's got a technical already.
He is so close to getting thrown out of this game. You can't take that chance.
His headband got pushed down onto his eyes. Allen can barely see. Greg Willard, number 57.
You can understand the frustration if you get hit on a play, but with one technical already and your team with a chance with a big playoff win, you've got to back away. They lead by 6 right now. MetLife Limp, Snoopy 2. Giving us aerial views of the Philadelphia area tonight. Inside the Wachovia Center, Sixers lead by 6 with 3:43 remaining in the fourth.
9 on the shot clock. We got the big man trapped in the corner.
D'Alembert puts it up, puts it in. Samuel D'Alembert.
He might want to think of starting his own religion.
D'Alembert with 12 points and 10 rebounds. Hamilton feeding Ben Wallace. Hamilton knocked away. Korver. And Korver raises his hand. The crowd ready to yell at the refs, but Korver says, yes, I fouled him.
Very fortuitous break here. Not sure when the last time Samuel D'Alembert made that shot. But all that counts is that he got it right there to extend the lead to 8.
Ben Wallace, who made his first 6 free throws tonight, has missed the last 2. He's got a career-high 24 points, plus 14 rebounds. But Detroit now needs every bucket and every point from the line.
But momentum clearly on the side of the Sixers. Iverson playing so great, even when he gets his headband pulled down over his eyes. A little alternative to the Three Stooges defense.
Webber puts it in. Chris Webber, big fourth quarter shots. Webber with 9 of his 19 here in the fourth quarter. Rasheed Wallace. Webber the rebound. And the Sixers have the momentum with under 3 to play.
But the length of Samuel D'Alembert guarding Rasheed Wallace. Much better. The crowd rising as one.
They've been on their feet much of this fourth quarter. Webber forces it up and just gets the rim as Billups the rebound. Not a good possession that time for the Sixers.
Well, there's a heat check by Chris Webber.
And Billups with a strong move to the goal. There's still plenty of time remaining in a 7-point game. All 5 starters once again in double figures for Detroit.
Try to keep Iverson on the run as opposed to walking left the court.
Good entry pass, D'Alembert, and he draws the foul. Beautiful pass from Iverson as Rasheed Wallace picks up the personal. That will be his 3rd.
Allen Iverson has always been a willing passer. Dan, if D'Alembert can learn how to catch, once the chemistry develops between Webber and Iverson, this can be a force, this Philadelphia squad.
Iverson with 15 assists in addition to the 32 points. And D'Alembert in his first playoff series has been coming up big.
But Philadelphia is playing with the desperation that they need in a must-win game.
2 minutes remaining. Sixers by 8. Wallace a 3. And Hamilton a long rebound. Billups will try a 3. And D'Alembert got pushed by his own man. Fans upset, but it was Webber that pushed him. Not necessarily pushed him, just his momentum bumped into him.
Very difficult for Chauncey Billups that time to execute a shot that he just faked. Full reset of the shot clock.
Prince foul on the entry pass by Korver. And they're in the penalty, so Prince will shoot. But Philadelphia has done the job against this Detroit defense. Maybe the best defensive team. You can say the Spurs as well. But you see the difference between the season and tonight.
The Pistons are the reigning world champions. They stand alone. They've given up tonight 106 points. We still have a minute 48. Opponent's field goal percentage. When was the last time somebody shot 55% against them? And then the blocks per game, they average 6 during the season. They've only got 2 tonight as Philadelphia continues to own the paint.
Prince hits a pair, 6-point game. Iverson has been brilliant tonight offensively. An efficient game, an unselfish game.
Now that's what I like to see.
Hits a three. Allen Iverson from downtown. And a lead back up to 9. Timeout Detroit. 35 points, 15 assists.
Chris Webber setting it up with a little dribble handoff. That developing chemistry between these two stars. The dream of Billy King and Jim O'Brien to put it all together, and that dream is happening right now.
Sixers with a 9-point lead, trying to make sure the series will go back to Detroit for at least a game 5. Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace for 3. Way off an air ball. Ben Wallace, the cleanup.
Philadelphia rotates defensively very well initially, but then on the second rotation when they got to make a harder decision, they're falling down, and Wallace is getting innumerable wide open layups.
Oh, nice pass, Iguodala, Iverson and Dalembert, and a foul, and Dalembert got bumped. Let's see if they call it the act of shooting. Yes, he'll shoot 2.
I think Detroit wants Samuel Dalembert on the line. Quicker way to get the ball back.
So Dalembert, in his 3rd year in the NBA, his first playoff appearance in this series, is the leading rebounder in the entire NBA in the playoffs. Tonight, 10 more rebounds. He also has the 13 points. And doing it in front of the coach he gives so much of the credit to his progress for, Larry Brown. Brown, who loves to teach and practice, spent so many times after practice working with Dalembert, who in his 2nd season missed the entire year because of a knee injury, but he kept working and now becoming a very strong player here in Philadelphia. And lane violation on Dalembert. The shooter has to wait until the ball hits the rim. Everybody else can go in on the release.
I think Samuel Dalembert gets a little excited sometimes. Does he remind you of anybody who just is over-exuberant and just sort of can't wait for the game to come to him?
There are some similarities between you, Big Red, and Samuel Dalembert, your love of the game.
Well, it's been quite a while since I've been called Big Red.
Big Gray. Coming up on a minute remaining. Sixers lead by 8. Hamilton trying to find a seam. Lost it, but right to Ben Wallace. How about Ben Wallace? 29 points and 16 rebounds. But his team trails by 6.
Philadelphia has to be extremely smart right now. This is where the Pistons are at their best. Why they're the world champions. Up against the shot clock now.
Iguodala. And he's fouled on his way to the goal. And he'll shoot a couple of free throws.
And Larry Brown can't believe it. They played such good defense for so much of that shot clock. And then right at the end, they whistle Tayshaun Prince. Everybody's holding their heads. That's not a good sign. And Larry Brown's holding his head. Tayshaun Prince is holding his head. That if the free throws go down, we need a timeout.
Iguodala will go to the line. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Shot 74% during the regular season. And they're hitting their free throws now.
But if you don't get to the free throw line against Detroit, it's very difficult to win because they don't have to double team anybody.
They're 5 of 6 from the free throw line here in the fourth. And timeout called by Detroit with 42.3 seconds remaining.
And the chin.
42.3 seconds remaining in the fourth. Sixers lead by 7. First game of tonight's NBA playoff doubleheader brought to you in high definition by Phillips. Up next, high definition game 3 between the Sonics and the Kings. Contact your local cable operator or satellite provider to get ESPN HD and ESPN2 HD. And here in Philadelphia, the 76ers obviously charged up. The crowd has been great, and they have played so well offensively. How about shooting 55% against the Detroit Pistons?
It was a beautiful game by the Philadelphia 76ers. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination, but the bench contributions, 21-2. Rodney Rogers came in. Mark Jackson comes in. All kinds of guys. Willie Green makes a contribution. And the physical presence of the big men. Samuel Dalembert started this game very well. Chris Webber, offensive contributions from the perimeter down inside. The only thing they did wrong was allow Ben Wallace to have a career game on the offensive end.
And of course, the amazing Allen Iverson with 35 points and 15 assists. But as you said, this one far from over. Stolen by Iguodala.
And that is why you don't jump to pass. And now Detroit forced to foul.
The impressive rookie. What a defensive player he's been for Jim O'Brien. Rasheed Wallace and Chris Webber having some fun again. They were teammates Wallace's rookie year in Washington.
Well, how fun is this for Chris Webber? And they have been on this guy. Literally since the moment he got here, there was a flash of excitement. But then when he couldn't deliver, they just pummeled him.
You know, Webber with so much pride. He's put up amazing numbers in his career. Larry Brown was worried about him in this series. Said it's a lot like Wallace last year. Meanwhile, the crowd chanting MVP right now for Allen Iverson.
The amazing thing about with Chris Webber is they're a better team with him, and the fans are still on his case. They just want more than he can give.
9-point lead, half minute to play. Prince with a three-pointer, way off the mark, and Rodney Rogers the rebound, a foul on Wallace. No harm there. Good sportsmanship helps him up, and the 76ers will make this a 2-1 series. And after so many people were thinking sweep the way they performed in Detroit, they're right back in it.
Rasheed Wallace thinking sweep before this game started with some of his pregame rituals. But if Rodney Rogers, who's going to the line here for 2, can continue to play like this, and that's a big if, because Rodney's been played throughout his career by inconsistencies.
13 points in 16 minutes for Rogers.
Rogers has led this charge off the bench for Jim O'Brien.
Rogers, Green doing an excellent job. Mark Jackson helping out a little bit. And the fans will come back here fired up on Sunday afternoon as the bench for Philly have outscored Detroit's bench 23-2. And the Pistons and Sixers exchanging some very respectful shakes and hugs as Philadelphia won an impressive victory led by Allen Iverson.
It will not be this friendly Sunday afternoon. And you lucky guy, you get to be right here.
Iverson was brilliant with 37 points and 15 assists. Detroit still leads the series 2-1, but the 76ers feeling a lot more confident. Coming up next on ESPN Game 3 of the Kings and Sonics live from Sacramento. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Bill Walton, producer Ed Fibershoff, and director Jimmy Moore, and our entire crew, this is Mike Green saying so long from Philadelphia. Let's send it to John Saunders and the gang back in our Times Square studio.